Hello and welcome to the Walking Talking topic on averages, question number 4 with me, Mr. Barton. Right, what's going on here? A survey was carried out to find the mass of each member of a gym who uses a rowing machine. I don't know why, but it was. The stem and leaf diagram below shows the results of the survey. Complete the following table. Now, this is actually a bit trickier than it first looks. There's a tendency to think stem and leaf diagrams are dead easy, and generally they are, but this one's quite weird. Firstly, in the sense that it's a back-to-back stem and leaf diagram, so you've got two sets of data on one diagram. And secondly, if you notice, the stems actually go in reverse order. You might expect smallest to biggest, but this is actually biggest to smallest, and this is going to be very important when we're working out some of these things. So let's have a look. Complete the following table, the median of women. Now, my strong advice for you for this is to get the median, list the data out for the women, starting with the lightest. So the lightest woman is 50, and the one there, that's 51. So I'm just going to list the mass of the women out. Next one is a 51. Next is a 57. Now be careful here, your next lightest is a 63, then a 68, then a 73. And now, to find the median, we need the middle value. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think the middle is going to be between those two, between 57 and 63. And slap bang in the middle of that, I think, is going to be 60. So the median kilograms for women is 60. Now, if you do the same for the men, again, it's dead easy. It takes a little bit longer, but I promise you it reduces the chance of you making a mistake on this weird stem and leaf diagram. So let's do the men. The lightest men, 67, followed by 68, 71, 74, 76. I should have started off there further to the left. 78, 78, 82, 83. And if I just squeeze on, a 90 there. So to find the median, I need the middle one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 men. So I've got to make sure I've got the same number either side. So I reckon it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it's between the 5th and the 6th. Good way of checking, check you've got the same number either side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's looking good. So my median's going to be slap bang in the middle of that, which I think is 77. They're harder than they look to get those. If you do the range, it's biggest takes smallest. And again, if you've got them written out, it's dead easy. The heaviest woman is 73. The lightest is 51. So it's going to be 73. Take off your 51, which if my maths is right, I think that's going to be 22. And for the men, the heaviest is going to be 90, the lightest is going to be 67, which I think is 23. And finally, the mode is the most common or the most popular weight. So for the women, there's 2 51s, so it's going to be 51. And for the men, there's 2 78s, so it's going to be 78. A nice 3 marks, but as I say, if you try and do it direct from the stem and leaf diagram, I find that people make mistakes with that one. Now, for the next 2 bits of this question, it's chat central, and the exams go in this way. Lots of chatting to check you understand what averages actually mean. So Debbie chips in here. In general, the men weigh more than the women. What statement can be made about the spread of the data? Now, when we're talking about spread of data, we're not talking about average. We're either talking about range or interquartile range. Well, we've got some information on the range, so let's see what the range tells us. So if we have a look at the range of men's weight is 23, and the range of women's weight is 22. The men have a slightly bigger range than the women. So what I would say is the range tells us the spread of weights of men is slightly more than women. You could probably argue they're just about the same spread, but remember, bigger range means a bigger spread of data, less consistent data. Now, the fun of this question isn't over yet, because there's another bit here which has got a lovely little pie chart. Now, this is a flipping tricky mark to get. Let's have a look. The same men and women were asked whilst at the gym how much time they spent on each of the 3 fitness machines, rowing, stepper and the running machine. The gym instructor produced the following pie charts to display the results of the survey. Thomas is chipping in here. Men and women at the gym spend the same time on each of the 3 machines as each other. Now, looking at those pie charts, it looks like he's got a fair point here because they're exactly the same. But you've got to remember something very important about pie charts. They don't tell you anything about quantity. They only tell you about proportion. So whilst it's true that it looks like, for example, if we take the running machine, men and women spend the same proportion of their time on the running machine, maybe about 60% of the time, that doesn't mean they spend the same actual time on there. For example, the men might be dead lazy. The men might be just going into the gym for about half an hour. So the actual time that they spend on the running machine is probably only about 20 minutes. Whilst the women might be right machines and spending like 4 hours of time in the gym. So their actual time on the running machine, whilst it's the same proportion as the men, it's the proportion out of a bigger amount. So out of their 4 hours, they're probably spending like 2 hours 20 minutes on the running machine. So pie charts don't tell us about amounts, just proportion. But how am I going to put that down to get my mark? Well, what I'm going to say here is the proportions may be the same, but the actual, God, it'd help if I could spell, the actual amount of time could be different. And that is going to get you that 1 mark.